morning students, welcome back to computer science classes of class 12. Today we will be learning some more network protocols, and that is basically the wireless or mobile computing technologies. In a last or previous session we have already covered GSM, CDMA, TDMA, FDMA, WLL and GPRS. Today in this session we will be learning the generation of networks, SMS, Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi hotspots and WiMAX. And in our previous sessions, we have already covered chat, video conferencing and VoIP. So let us start with the generation of computers. G. This G stands for generation, which is underlying the wireless network technology. So what are the different generations that we are having? The first G, 1G, 2G, 3G and 4G. Okay, that is actually existing and we are using, and 5G and 6G that is means maybe coming in our future. Now let us start with 1G networks. So 1G networks is considered to be first analog cellular systems which started with 1980s, and it uses radio telephone systems, and it was the first one. Okay, so that time we never used to call it as 1G, but later on when the third generation came, then we started dividing the types of generations. So the first generation network were conceived and designed purely on voice calls with almost no consideration of data services, with the possible exceptions of built-in modems and some headsets. So that time you sending messages and sending your video calls and all was just not possible. It was just to getting a phone call and receiving it, and that time that was a trunk call. Okay, directly you cannot call anyone. That time there used to be a exchange office, that there you have to send your just call and send your request that I want to talk to that this person of this state and this country, if it is outside, or if this in the side of same country, then you have to mention that this block, this so specifically you have to mention in that way, and they used to give a particular date that on that day you come and then you'll be able to get the call. So it was a long process. That was the first G. Now after that we got 2G networks. 2G networks has the CDMA and GSM, or so in this CDMA and GSM all of you know. So that is the keypad mobiles. Do you remember those keypad mobiles before the smartphones we used to have? So with that we used to just have your mobile calls, means the phone calls, and the message SMS facility. Only these two were possible. So this GSM supports the circuit switch data, which allows user to place dial-up data calls digitally. So the network switching station receiving actual ones and zeros rather than the screech of an analog modem. So this was 2G networks. Hope this is clear to all of you. And I just missed one point, that is 1990s. This 2G was launched in 1990s and the 1G was launched in 1980s. It is just after these years. Okay. Now then we have got 2.5G networks, that is the half area. So after having 2G, the technicians thought of having this network wherein the GPRS system was used, and it enhanced the versions of 2G networks, and it used to have 144 kilobits per second, and this GPRS was first time used for the data service, where we can have the SMS facility. Then we have got 3G networks. 3G all of you know, you have used. Okay, I'll just explain it once again. These are the cellular networks, and that have data rates of 384 kilobits per second or more. So just imagine 2.5G was having 144, whereas 3G is having 384, much faster. And it requires in stationary speeds of 2 megabits per second, and the mobile speeds used to have 384, which is a true 3G. Now then we have got 4G networks. 4G network is a successor of 3G network, and 4G network, which we are using right now, have the high data rates, which about 2200 megabits per second. And actually 4G technology is based on IP services. Like all of we are, whenever we are having our smartphones, what we need to do, we need to have our Google account. Why do we need to have it? Just to have an IP address. Whatever smart devices we are having, all having your IP address. And I guess all of you know what is this IP address and all. Now this is one important thing, that is edge. This 3G specification, the third generation of mobile communication technology, promises increased bandwidth. Okay, that is 384 KB, means kilobits per second. When a device stationary or moving at pedestrian speed, that is 128 kbps in a car, or 2 Mbps is fixed in applications. So when a particular person is moving, that time the speed becomes 128, and if someone is fixed, then it becomes 2 megabits per second. It is just about the statistics. Now 3G is also known as UMTS. Now what is meaning of it? UMTS is nothing but Universal Mobile Telecommunication System. It is a broadband packet based, means the packet switching, transmission of text, digitized voice, means all the features we are just explaining now, video and multimedia of data rates up to more than 2 megabits per second. And this 3G can work over GSM, TDMA and CDMA. Now then we have got edge. Edge, it is an air interface that has been developed specifically to meet the bandwidth needs of 3G. EDGE stands for Enhanced Data Rates for Global Evolution, and it is a radio-based high-speed mobile standard. So if anyone by mistake any question comes like which type of wireless technology is used for EDGE, or which wireless communication or transmission media is used, we have to say it is radio waves. So EDGE allows data transmission of speeds from 380 to 384 kbps to be achieved when all 8 time slots are used. So in fact, EDGE was formerly called GSM 384, and then we now call it as EDGE. So earlier it was called as GSM 384. Some more features of EDGE. Now it is also considered as intermediate step in the evolution of 3G, and it carries expected stop short to that final step. So it is just an intermediate step, and it was initially developed for mobile network operators who failed to win UMTS. Okay, so the EDGE gives a GSM operator the opportunity to offer data services at speeds that are near to those available on MTS networks. So when 3G, those 384 speed is not getting it, at that time EDGE was working. Now what is this 4G and LTE? LTE stands for long-term evolution, and 4G, you know, 4th generation. So the 4G provides more speed of uploading and downloading the data. Okay. Now let us understand what is this SMS. SMS stands for short message service, and all of we know it is transmission of short text of text messages from one mobile to another. So messages which are very long, that are been cut or fragmented into segments and then sent to other mobile connection, and it does not include any images or music piece, that is audio files or video files. It is only about text. Now how does it works? Once a message is sent, it is received by the SMSC, that is short message service center, which must then get it to appropriate mobile device. To do this, SMSC sends a SMS request to the HLR, that is home location register, to find the roaming customer. So once the HLR receives the request, it will be responded to the SMSC with the status of the subscriber, whether the subscriber is active, whether it is inactive, and where the subscriber is roaming. Now what is Wi-Fi? It refers to wireless fidelity and lets you to connect to internet without any direct line from your PC or ISP. I guess all of you know what is ISP. It is internet service provider, the connections that we can have like Jio, Airtel and all. Now you need to have following things to work with Wi-Fi: a broadband internet connection, a wireless router, a laptop or desktop with wireless internet card, and then transmitting computer data without wireless makes your data especially susceptible to hackers, computer users who can intercept your connection and steal your data. So if you decide to use Wi-Fi at home, then be sure that the network you set up is security enabled. Like you have to set a proper password, and that should not be shared with everyone, and it should be changed within a time of tenure. What is this hotspot? All of you know, you just turn on your personal hotspot to share your internet connection with your family members. So what you are doing, you are making your device as a hotspot where the other computer or other devices can access the internet from your thing. So you should never make it public, or suppose you haven't given a password to it, please do not do it. It becomes a risky one. So hotspots are public locations, that is library, hotels, we tell it. But when we come for Wi-Fi hotspot, it is very important to have a password. What is this WiMAX? WiMAX is a wireless digital communication system, and it can be provided with broadband wireless access, that is up to 30 miles, means 50 kilometer for fixed stations, and 3 to 10 miles, that is 5 to 15 kilometer for mobile stations. WiMAX requires a tower called WiMAX base station, similar to the cell phone like we have done previous sessions, which is connected to the internet and using a standard wired high-speed connection. But as opposed to your traditional ISP, which divides the bandwidth among the customers via wire, it uses a microwave. So this is important, that WiMAX uses microwaves, okay, to establish a connection. In other words, you can say WiMAX does not depend on cables to connect each endpoints, that is the nodes. The internet connectivity to an end user is provided through microwaves. So we do not require the lines or any wire. It is done with the microwaves to get the connection between two different towers. Okay, and this is called WiMAX subscriber unit. With this, we are ending our session today. I hope the technologies are clear to all of you. If you have any doubt, do let me know and solve the worksheet that I'll be sending. Thank you.